Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's a pleasure to be with you today. I haven't been so daggum busy. Made another big move, so we've been really busy. But we're going to start this week, going to knock these videos out of here for you and try to get caught up with all your questions, and I hope everything's good with you. I hope those of you that are suffering or pulling yourselves out of that. You're stealing my chair, man. There's your chair.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do some eyes. And so we've developed a little system here, so I'm going to kind of get with this and not rattle along too much. So I'm going to get with eyes here. Your beautiful pictures you're sending me, and all the time I'm going to do the best I can to show you, give you some iridology lessons here, and onward and upward. You Facebook people, hang on. All you beautiful people out there, all the sites that you're doing and kicking butt, I'm so proud of you guys. This is the Renaissance. This is where you see the big shift, because it's right at the core of where humans are suffering, you know, and that will resonate back into a tremendous spiritual upliftment. So real excited to have everyone involved and participating, and pleasure to be with you here. So without delay, let's go ahead and get with our first iris. I'm going to actually come around and work with Drew here with these eyes and see what we can do. So forgive us for our little makeshift unprofessionalism, but that's the way it rocks here in Port Charlotte. All right, now what we have here is Claire. I hope you will. Let's see. I have attached pics of my irises. I would greatly appreciate it if you would provide a general outline of what I need to work on. I've completed my 10-day fruit fast. Oh, cool. And I've just started 10 days on green juice, and I'm feeling great. Let's do a right eye first here. Does that work out pretty good? Good deal, man. Good idea. 24 years old, 5'4", 107. Major complaints are that I have lower back. Okay, so lower back. What's lower back? Kidneys. Right off. So this is your right eye, sweetheart. And what we have here, can you pick this up when I do it like this? Can you pick that up? Those big lacunas, those fiber patterns you have right here, sweetheart, that's your kidney right there. And this is your upper femur. This is your kidney and adrenals right here. We're swinging around to the female side. So I definitely douche with some Heal tea for a few weeks, at least once a day, and work on my female side, that big area right there, female. This area up here is bladder, and you see that white, kind of a white around that? That's inflammation, that's lymph stagnation. And you see a lot of lymph stagnation. Here's one with this big lacuna, or this fiber pattern. Here's a big one, but you see that layer around the outside. And this layer is the lymph. And you see this thickened layer right here that wraps around this pattern. And that flips into lower back. Right there's your lower back. This is throat, thyroid, parathyroid. Now we're moving up into the frontal brain up here. Right here is pituitary. And this is your transverse colon. This is why when you look how eyes are laid out, the transverse colon fits right atop the pupil, and then of course the brain fits atop that. That's why we always see that connection of the transverse colon here with the eye here. Matter of fact, we're talking right eye here, and this is your transverse colon, at least half of it in the right eye, the right half. And then you see that as weaknesses develop, they resonate back up to the brain. Actually, all weaknesses resonate back up to the brain. Some of these holes that we see, these weaknesses in the brain area, could relate to all these different areas down here. That's something that needs to be correlated, is all these different tissues in the brain area, and I'm sure there are those out there that have been doing that. This is near the cerebellum, the medulla area. This is your equilibrium dizzy center. That's a pretty deep, dark weakness there. So I would get up with upper circ, brain and nerve, and start to getting in, moving lymph, because that's the causative factors, and then get up here with upper circ, brain and nerve, and start impacting these various spots here We're moving on down here to the shoulder, the right shoulder, and then start getting into the bronchial trunks. Got some weaknesses in the bronchial trunks. And as we go here, we're looking at pancreatic or right hip. That looks more like right hip right here, but I do think there's some pancreatic involvement. You see a little spasticity right here at the ileocecal valve, and that's where you see the pancreatic areas right here, maybe impacting the ovary on this side. This is right breast area. Now let's look at the left side real quick. All this thickened area that you see here around, it's hard to see your lymphatic system with these not real high quality eyes. We picked our computer up as high as we could. But it's enough to say that all this is thick lymph all through the body here. This is the left eye. This is the heart area. So I would use the heart formula in the future and strengthen my heart up. But most important is always lymph. Back here at that left ear, again, more pituitary evidence, transverse colon evidence here as we move around, some eye weakness, and then we get back to that old throat again. And we get back to the mid-back, and we get back to the lower back. Now we're back to the vaginal and bladder area and the uterine area. I definitely work on the female reproductive area, bladder and kidneys. There's your left kidney right there. That dark line right there. There's your upper femur again, and boy, that looks like groin to me right there. Big groin weakness right there. So you want to strengthen up. There's a little parathyroid. So always, always, always GI tract. Clean up this GI tract. Always, always, always clean up the lymph system. There's the kidneys and adrenals. Move the lymph. Upper circ, brain, and nerve would be very helpful. Strengthen up the heart someday. Go out to the parathyroid gland. Okay, Claire? Yeah, that's as good as we can get out of these eye photos. Thank you, Claire. You're doing good. Just head on down the road. 5 foot 407 pounds. Okay. We've talked about this later. This shows you here. I wanted to show you these pictures of where she's so acidic that it's breaking down the metal. And you can see the metal tainting the skin here. Can't remember if we went over her eye pics or not, but let's just, if I haven't, I will just, can you, I'm in on this one. This is the left eye here. You can see the left eye. All this white you see in this eye, of course this is a blue eye. Now, it's hard for me to tell you, Claire's eyes, it obviously looks brown to me, but you can have an eye picture that's low quality that looks brown that's actually hazel, and so that could have been a hazel eye. All this white here in this eye is lymph. A lot of sinus. Remember, transverse colon on top of the pupil, sinus and the head area right above that. And you always see a thickened area right in here of lymph. This is frontal lobe, a lot of lymph. This is left eye again. Kidneys are right in this area. All that, those lacunas there, those pattern differences right there is the kidneys and adrenals. Here's the leg and knee, the left knee. Here's the hip, a lot of lymph. See how thick that white is in that area? That thick white is lymph stagnation. You see it right here too, heavy lymph stagnation here. There's a little brown ring around the pupil, so that's malabsorption. And here we go as we follow this collar, like around that collarate, around the pupil is the collarate of the GI tract. And when that collarate, end of that collarate is thick, that's lymph stagnation, that's malabsorption. Over here, we have a little breast weakness over here, lower rib wall weakness here. We get into the hips here, into the ovaries here. Here we got mid-back, and we got upper neck right here. See how dark that's looking? So that's a little bit of a problem. The deeper, the darker. These lacunas, or they call them crypts when they get too deep. Whatever you wish, pattern, fiber pattern changes, whatever. But that's the darker, the deeper, the more problematic, and that's just what this one is. Probably either upper T or in the C-spine area. But pretty good strong constitution, even with a few of these here. Clean up the bowels. These are in your bowels. This is the upper portion of the descending bowel. Yeah, hip ovary. This is the right. How are we doing there? Can you get that one?
Mm-hmm.
This is the right eye. And again, more kidney and adrenal evidence. Now, when we keep looking at eyes, you're going to constantly see kidney and adrenals, or at least adrenals. I've never seen anyone, well, I won't say that. I've seen some where the adrenals weren't too half shabby, but still weak. Here's the lower portion of the right leg, groin. Now we're into the hip up here of the right hip. And then this big lacuna here, or lesion, however you call it, without sitting here and mapping all this out, that looks like pancreatic, and then there's gallbladder. So definitely want to work on the pancreas and the gallbladder here. Very, very important here. Bronchial trunks, clean your lungs out. All this is just lymph, all this white stuff. Here's throat. So a sore throat. When you see these lesions, you know you're going to have a healing crisis in these weaker areas, and you're going to have a sore throat. That's obvious. And then as you get down to lower back here. So pretty good strong body. Clean up the bowels. Get up in the sinuses. Getting up into the sinuses in the head area is cleaning this whole bowel area up. Remember, look at the GI tract like a tree. So if you see, if you look at the GI tract like a tree, you'll see that this is the trunk, the head, the sinuses, the head area, the brain. As the tree grows the branches, as it grows up, here's the liver, here's the pancreas, here's the spleen, there's kidneys. All comes out of this GI tract that encircles the pupil. All right. Here's a pretty one. Now, real pretty, but tremendous amount of acidosis. Now, this is Super Raw Vegan Matt. Hey, Matt. Hey, buddy. Let me see. I love all your videos. Saying, Matt, I love you too, bro. You are one of a kind. Thanks. You are too. Was wondering if you would take the time. Absolutely sure I would. I need to know if brown spot on my right eye is in fact prostate. I am 39 years old, cured myself of type 2 diabetes. See how nice these guys, see how good these people are? They're curing themselves right and left. I couldn't be more happier. Cure yourselves, guys, of everything. I'm telling you, nobody can cure but yourself. You know how it is. My fasting blood sugar went from 247 to 100 in 2 weeks. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Kicking butt, boy, but you know this is your adrenal glands, of course. And at 39 years old, also have an OBE question. When you had an out-of-body travel experience or an OBE, did you see in 360 degrees all around you? No, not necessarily. No, Nope. Nope, not necessarily. Matter of fact, I often think that that's some of the misunderstanding of master. Some people see a master and they think they're all-knowing. That's just not true. You can't have that and maintain these physical bodies. You can have a lot more of a vision, but you can't have a 300. There's times where you can get to places. I felt I had that at cosmic consciousness, but then I felt more when I went beyond into the soul consciousness. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, basically my travels were in different bodies. When you're traveling in creation, you're traveling in a body, you're going to be limited to that body, believe it or not. You can't push the infinite into the finite. You can't do it. You can only awaken up to the infinite as you're a part of the infinite with the illusion of the bodies giving you the finite experience. Good job, Matt. Okay, so he's curious about this spot right here. My guess is that looks like a drug deposit, Matt. I mean, that looks like a drug deposit to me. It's a little dark, though, and it looks just like what you're saying, right into the prostate gland. Now, that could be a drug deposit in the prostate gland. These sore spots Jensen talks about are genetic weaknesses. He doesn't know what these spots are, whether they're drug spots that somehow that coloration transferred genetically. I don't know. I don't know. But there are definitely some weaknesses in that prostate. But what's more at issue here is, see, these eyes are kind of a greenish look, a yellowish greenish look. That's subacute stages of lymph toxicity, where generally speaking, you could consider white to be acute, basically, and yellow to be subacute. So you got a lot of this yellow, thick yellow, all this thick yellow. And some of it's a little orangish, so there wouldn't be a stretch to assume some sulfur participation, but not bad. Here we've got a knee here and an upper femur here on the right side. But you see all these blood vessels? See how red all those blood vessels are? That really correlates with this eye, because this is just extreme systemic acidosis. You don't want all these blood vessels like this. That means you have acidosis or inflammation basically head to toe. In sclerology, this would refer to all the organs and glands being inflamed or being, acidic. And that's what you're looking at. This is a very acid eye here. Pupil's a little bit bigger than what I would think it should be, so that's a little bit of the central nervous. This is up in the brain area. It's real thick. You got to clean that out, friend. This is the cerebellum area. The area of dizziness and vertigo and maybe swinging blood pressures. Good genes, no question. Pretty good genes here. Here's throat area. Sore throat coming, Matt, right there. This is maybe your upper T-spine there. Starting to get in your lower lumbar area a little bit because you're swinging around to this kidney. Look at that kidney right there. Now, this could be bladder. If I was looking at this could be bladder, but I think it's sitting in the prostate myself. Again, this is kidneys, and up here, minor, this is all going to be the hip a little bit, minor there right now, but all that lymph could create more of a demand. I'd say a little spastic area in the gallbladder area. Could clean the gallbladder and liver up a little bit. Looking to the left eye here, just stuff of the same character here. This again, up in the medulla, up in the cerebellum. This could give you equilibrium problems in the future. We time? Fran? Who was that? I know we're running over time. Again, Matt, we got a big pupil here, Matt. Hope you can see this. Again, down here in the left leg, you got left leg, left knee. You got to be careful with that knee. I'm looking for parathyroid. Don't see too much. I think you're moving that lymph. Get those kidneys moving that lymph. Real thick in the lymph area. The adrenal weakness here is obvious. That gives you these nerve rings. See these nerve rings? See these nerve rings over here? That's all nerve rings, and that's autonomic nerve rings. I don't consider this the autonomic nerve wreath like all of them do. I really don't. I think that you don't see basically cells that are healthy. And fibers just look straight, everything looks good. It's when you start to see dis-ease, when you start to see the weakening of cells and the packing in of toxicity and mucus, that you start to see the changes within the eye. Most of your GI tract is pretty nice here. Now, you see all these dark areas right here? This is the transverse colon, so you have a few weaknesses in the transverse bowel. This is called the splenic flexure, which is the little prolapse. See how that comes down a little bit? That means prolapsing. When you see a kind of a large swing and the bowel rim kind of falls toward the pupil, that's prolapsing, where the bowel's sinking. Some places you'll see like a V, almost like this. That's spastic. But you see, always when you see a V, you'll see a pattern on the other side. That is just proof positive that it's a genetic past, because it invades the bowel wall. Anything that invades the gut is going to be genetic, because that's what's passed. That's the embryonic tail right here. So anything that hits into this is definitely going to be of a genetic nature. And this is lower back, no question about it. And swings back and hits your kidneys. There's the groin there, and the hip as well. Up here's a little spleen. You want to clean that out. But this is lower back, kidneys. Clean that up. But you start to see that bowel really needs cleaned up. All these little diverticulums, bowel pocketed areas, or weaknesses, that really needs to be cleaned up. And this could be affecting some shoulder there. We'll see. Some bronchial trunks, definitely. But lots of lymph, Matt. Lots of lymph. These should be blue eyes, and they're yellowish. Now, I take it some of it could just be the color of the picture. So that's where a quality picture makes a big difference. When you guys get your pictures, make sure your colors kind of match up to your eyes. Because here is it coming through the way you sent it. Mm-hmm. Which is helpful, and this is the way it was so high def. Now let's go back and show this the way you sent it. You see that area? That's the prostate area. See that reddish area? You've got that's like iodine or something. You've got a major bunch of iodine stuck in the prostate gland. Now it could be in the head of the pancreas, bladder, but that looks pretty much, as she said, we got company. I don't know, she was just peeking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, prostate, no question. So you got a big, and a lot of this orangish flavor here. A lot of this orangish flavor is going to be it's going to be sulfur, but that's definitely a drug deposit stuck right in the prostate. And so you can definitely imagine the prostate's being irritated and some inflammation process. Now, this one doesn't look as bad when you see this, does it? Mm-mm. It doesn't look see how that's almost too high def? See how it pulled it up so much that when you look at this, see the difference?
Yeah, put it next to that one.
Yeah, see the difference?
There we go.
Yeah. See, this doesn't look so bad. When you pull it up high def, look at that. But that's really what's going on there. But you can see the thickness here. Definitely blue eyes. You can see how thick that lymph is. This really shows you the high def. When you pull that in, well, look at the difference between the grouping here now and the grouping here. See the difference? These are nice eyes here. But see how big the pupil is? This is controlled by the optic nerve feeding right into the central nervous system.
How dark it is in the
I know. Yeah. I know. It's just, sometimes the high def isn't always good, and this is a good time. Hope that helps you, Matt. Love you, bro. Thanks a lot, guys. How's my time? Do we even know? Maybe we better check it before we get into another one. If you go check it, I'll go ahead and start this one.
After.
Ooh, that could be somebody be mad at me then. This is obviously a female, I think, or this guy likes eyeliner or mascara or something. I was wondering if you could do a segment on your YouTube video on my eyes. You betcha, sweetheart. Hugs, Shelby. Told ya. All right, sweetheart. I'm going to see your eyes this way. This must be a young woman. Now the guy looks like a young woman. Look how long those eyelashes are. Nice, pretty long eyelashes. Wow. All right, so let's look at the difference here between what you sent me and how we took this off the computer. So, the first thing that sticks out here, Shelby, is this collarate, like collarate that goes around. This is the GI tract. You see that differentiated area here as opposed to out here. So when you look on an eye chart, that's this. Collarate goes around here. And then your right eye shows your right side of your body and your left eye shows the left side of the body. So it's just like you cut yourself right down the center. And so most of what's on the right side of the body falls into the right eye and vice versa there. So the stomach is always a perfect circle, and you will always see the stomach ring as a perfect circle. You shouldn't see the stomach ring, but if you do, you know you're inflamed or you're breaking your stomach down because of acids, and you'll start to see that round stomach circle. And then outside of that, you will see the dimension of your gut. Small and large bowel. Small bowel is always on the inside of the nose, on the inside of the eye, and then on the wrapping around the outside border goes the colon. See, this is the colon. Over, down. Appendix. You always see this in trouble. It's rare not to see in an appendix that it's in trouble, isn't it? Okay, so the first thing we notice also here is this is a large skin ring. It's a very large skin ring. So we know that the skin is a little weak here. And she's either not sweating enough. So if we move over to the thyroid, this is a pretty good parathyroid weakness right here. A little dark here, and it sets up. Well, this person hasn't been able to get the body temperature they need to sweat. This is the lymph node bed. So you see the lymph nodes are sitting up there pretty shiny and bright today. But you have a haze of sulfur there. But you see that color, it means there's malabsorption. If you look real close at the pupil, you'll see that brown ring, that malabsorption ring. The shape of the bowel is pretty decent. I mean, little ups and downs here and there, but not bad. But that's the lymph system. Move that lymph. Good, strong constitution, pretty much.
Is that a blue or a brown?
That is a blue eye.
All right.
No question about it, absolutely. But we've got some back here. This blood vessel is coming right in about mid-back or mid to lower back here. So we got some little back weaknesses going on here. This could even be up into the throat area. Then we got upper, mid, lower back here. Here's the kidneys. This is female. Little swelling down here in the female area. So we need to move that lymph. Get these lymph nodes broken loose and clean, because nothing good comes of lymph node swelling in the vaginal wall. That could be very problematic. So we want to clean all that out. You could douche with some tea and strengthen that. Going backwards, here we've got hip here. We've got pancreas. That's pretty deep here. Pancreas and right ovary. So here's the pancreatic and right ovarian weakness, and right up to it is the gallbladder and liver. So I definitely spend some time. I'd probably work on my gallbladder and liver, as those herbs can cross over and help the pancreas, except for the sugar controlling herbs. So I would use the liver gallbladder for me and really work on my my liver gallbladder. At the same time, get the lymphatic 1 capsule, start cleaning up this, try the GI broom, get your lymph node 2. I mean, go down a road of getting on the lymph system. Use one lymphatic 1 capsules though, and then use a tincture, because you want to clean this interstitial lymphatic constipation out of there. Good strong eye though. It looks like a young woman. Now, is she pregnant? Look at that hook. See how that hooks? She might be pregnant. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't follow that too much. Not pregnancy, hooks.
Right. Yeah.
Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Now, left eye. About the same story here. You can see when the bowel takes these indentions, you'll start to see this darkness here, and that's pretty much around the shoulder, left shoulder, moving up to the ear area. A lot of congestion in the ear, and this is getting up into the medulla, the cerebellum. See that white around this darkness there? So almost every time, now you don't see it so much here, but almost every time you see a weakness, when you see the lymph there, you know that lymph system isn't moving well in those areas, and you're going to have more problems with those areas, and that's what that looks like, shoulder to me. That lymph node is in the upper lung, so you need to clean that lymph out of that lung area there. Use lung number 2 sometime. It'll break all that loose. But just move your lymph system. I'd work on the skin too. Now the skin formula has a lot of liver herbs. So working on your liver, gallbladder is going to be the best thing you do. That's especially for the skin. So I'd even alternate and go work on my skin a little bit and the liver. Keeping in mind using hot and cold showers, hydrotherapy, dry skin brushing, get your thyroid up so you can sweat. This is throat and thyroid area again. So I'm constantly seeing thyroid. I'd pick that up and you see here's that white area around the thyroid. A lot of inflammation. So you can start popping polyps in the thyroid, etc., etc. Throat and a back weakness going basically down the back at different areas. Upper back, mid back, lower back. But here's your kidney right here. Here's the kidney. And by the way, here's your left knee. And then your hip, and then you start working yourself back up this way. That's the breast area. In the left breast area, you got a swelling right there, and you've got some inflammation. So cleaning this bowel up, see how this radiates all out of the hub. And the hub is the embryonic trunk called the gut tissue, and that is the man's GI tract. And that's why this is vital to clean up along with the kidneys. Anytime you have an eliminative organ eliminating waste to the outside world, that must always be happening. The retention of waste never did anybody any good. Pituitary, not bad, just a little bit. Just clean that sinus out. It's kind of hard to clean the sinus out until you break this bowel loose clean, but you see your wall's a little thick here, so you're dealing in some malabsorption. So I hope that's helpful to you. Now, always think about when you're detoxing the body to use the basic thinking. Go into the lymphatic 1 capsules for the GI tract. Are they pulling me for anything? They're not. There's some no-show?
So far.
So far, no-show. Actually, to me, that could make me happy because I have so much to do. I can spend 2 hours with all my friends here. Now, these weren't done too good. Are we good? Can you? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The best we can.
Of course. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, this is Norma. I've been on your detox protocol off and on for almost a year now and would love it if you could read my iris online. I would greatly appreciate it if you could give it a go. Surely will now, Norma. Appreciate all your help, too. Thank you. I think we'll be good here. Let me see here. Any other comments that we've got for Norma? No, no, wait. This is, well, we'll see here. We've got several pictures, and I think we should give it a go.
Some of the pupils look a little larger than
that
one.
Yeah. Oh, some other ones? Mm-hmm. Well, I think we saw this one, which is one. Now, to show this is a good example. Of almost 2D, 3D, 4D. As you can see the difference between these are called radii solaris, and some people get them and some don't. I don't know why. But these radii solaris comes right out of the bowel wall and emanates right out like the rays of the sun. The deeper, the darker. Now, this doesn't look too, you can tell they're deep and dark. But when you look down and we 3D this a little bit better, see how you can really see them? See how dark they are? Mm-hmm. And I'll say this, nothing ever good comes of these type of areas. These are not good areas. So, sweetheart, you want to get in with upper circuit, brain and nerve, and start rebuilding brain tissue where these are. You can, after a point, begin to see this in a genetic pass. In an MRI and CAT scan. You can pick these up as brain lesions. So you have to be careful. It's getting pretty deep here. Now, when I look at this eye, you see that's a little haze. See that little haze there? But on this eye, when we put it 3D, we didn't see this. If this indeed is a haze like this, that's a cholesterol haze. When I look in the pupil, it's hard for me to see if there's a cataract there, but this would, as you start to see the cholesterol, you're going to see the cholesterol in the pupil called cataract. So it's enough to say that when we look at hers, this is the left eye here. I don't know, we'll just pick on this, the left eye first. Again, this is going to be the pituitary up in the brain. And so your pituitary is in a very chronic state. This goes right up in the hypothalamus area. This is up in the center of the brain again. This is moving toward the cerebellum and the equilibrium center of the body, right here.
Can you turn the bottom page down a little bit? Like that. There's a lot of glare.
Here, let's do this.
There you go.
All right, let's do this.
Perfect.
And then we can do this. There seems to be a lot of, but see how flat this looks. Real hard to get a real good look at her lymph system here. This is a little better. And you really get to see the shape of your bowel wall. Whenever you're viewing the shape of your bowels, you're just simply viewing this collarate, and whether it's going up, down, ballooned out. Here's a prolapsing of the descending bowel. See how that swings toward the pupil here, as opposed to up here. So that descending, that's the splenic flexure. This is the curve of the bow. And let me show you that. The splenic flexure is right there where the transverse starts to curve and go down south. That's what that little flexure is. And it does tend to prolapse down. No one has healthy bowels in today's world. I mean, no, I knew a surgeon in the 70s that only saw one healthy colon in a 4-year-old dissection at Harvard. Now, all these blood vessels indicate irritation or, acidosis. Kidneys right here. Kidneys and adrenals right there. So you see that slit. That goes with this lower back right here. That might even be bladder. You're real close to lower back, bladder, a little rectal wall weakness too, right in there. This is the upper femur, right there where it goes into the hip, and if we walk right over here, we see the hip. So this left hip is going to give you a little fit one of these days if you got to get in there and clean that out and fix that. And then you go down that whole leg is weak, and you pick into, again, up at the hip area. This, again, you need to get up into you need to clean the bow up and get up into your head area and get all those little areas cleaned up and strengthened up. You got to fix the kidneys anyway and get all that cleaned up. This is a more difficult one to read, but I think you get a pretty good gist here. We're back with these radius solaris here, which is very common. And we want to nip these in the bud. To nip them in the bud, though, is to clean up the bowels. Now, you'll see a little bit of spastic condition here in your right side of your transverse colon. This one's very small pupil. This is the leg again. A lot of lymph congestion in the kidney here. This is the right kidney. Here's the groin. And then we move back to the appendix and left and right ovary, and then the liver there. So I'd work on my liver a little bit and gallbladder, same as the other lady, work on the liver and clean that up a little bit. Definitely check the parathyroid. Looks pretty good here, but this pituitary could be shutting it down a little bit here. Here's a little upper neck weakness. Now we got to get into the lower back area and stuff. This could be female. If you feel like you have female, you've ever been diagnosed with atypical cells, all females need to douche with the Heal-All Tea, clean up that area of the body and rebuild any weaknesses there. So I hope that helps you. The eyes are not real easy to read on this one, but certainly you can see your lower burner here, your lower back, your kidneys, your legs, that sort of thing, your hips. Those are the areas. Getting the kidneys worked on, real important here. Get that adrenals. That's chronic. You'll see some nerve ring here maybe, but that's a real chronic adrenal. But good, not bad, not bad. Clean it up and you'll be in good shape there, dear one. And keep honking down that road. Dig in. Make sure your bowels, or you're getting mucus out of your stools and urine. Get up in that head area. Need a good cold and flu. Candle your ears, stuff like that. I'm not sure if we went over this one or not. We'll do it one more time if we have. We've redone these eyes here a little bit. So which one are you thinking? Female. You can tell with the makeup there. That looks like left and that looks like right. Let's see if we have any indication here. I'm going to say that's left. What do you say?
I was going to say right.
That looks left.
Yeah, this is right. The next page.
Yeah, that's right.
It's right eye.
Yeah, that's right eye. And that's left eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, right eye. These are these sore spots again. Could be drug deposits. All this yellowish orange again, nothing. And we'll show you the picture that was sent to us. See how flat that picture is? You can't get a good look at the fibers whatsoever, so it was hard to pick up off of that. Even when we took it off, it lost the orange look. So this is why good color pictures of the eye from a good camera And the armature's set just right. The light, everything's just set right. It's important to see what we're really looking at in a color picture.
A lot of people are asking about what type of camera. It doesn't matter if as long you could use an iPhone or a good digital quality phone.
Yeah.
Something with a macro lens setting.
Yeah.
Make sure the macro is turned on.
Okay.
Remember that part too.
Macro's turned on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a blue eye. No question about that one. But this is a lot of subacute. See the yellowish look? That's subacute lymph. The white is acute lymph. It's starting to move. When I look at this, then I would, if I just had this eye, I would say we're moving toward chronic bowels. But when I get this eye, I see orange, sulfur for sure. So what do we have here? So my take is this is probably the sulfur around here. This definition we took off was, it's high def, but you can tell the colorations was off here. A lot of subacute lymph here. Here's her other picture, the one we're looking at right now. Here it is. These are sore spots, drug deposits maybe, whatever. That's definitely a heavy amount of sulfur. You see the blue here, peeking its little head through here. But we've got skin. Need to clean up the skin. Here's the adrenal gland. Now here's a case where the kidney isn't so bad. You see a little kidney weakness, but you all see that adrenal gland right there. Now you see in this is all but lost in this eye. But this is upper femur. But what you would not, you realizing that all systems dump their waste into the kidneys, you would expect to see the legs, the hips, you would expect to see all that. Now that's a pretty good, let me see where we are here. Yeah, that's a good pancreatic weakness right there. It could be hip, could affect the hip. Sometimes you have to correlate. Don't always assume that everything's right where they should be, because I can tell you, I found pancreases down here before. So you have to correlate clinically the eye work. Here's nerve rings going around the eye here, so there's the autonomic nervous system. Well, that goes right back to these adrenals right here. You always see these. Now the bowels should be cleaned up really good. You're ballooned out right in here. You got a little prolapsing here, or spastic this side is the hepatic or liver flexure. The other eye has the splenic or spleen flexure. Bronchial trunks. Now you really just need to really get in. You got good genes here. You just really need to get in. You need a good body cleansing and get that nervous system back online and get all that sulfur out. When we make a chart, let's put both of these in it, because this really helps us to see how much of this orange stuff she's dealing with. This is GI broom. This is why we created the GI broom. Getting this stuff out isn't always easy, so all of you guys don't get frustrated. You're amongst many who are working to get their sulfurs out. And I think, again, going through the hydration process, going through the movement of the lymph and getting the kidneys is all part of how we open this up, and it just is going to take time. We're waking up to a whole new renaissance of understanding about health. It has to be worked for now. You can't just buy it. You can't drink it.
You have to do it.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
So, let's look at the left eye real quick. Sorry there, Drew. Get your stand here messed up. Good strong genes. See all those fibers? See all those straight, nice fibers? Think of the eye like a wagon wheel. Here's the hub, and here's all the spokes, except this wagon wheel has thousands of these spokes. Just little spokes that emanate out like rays of the sun. Now these little nerve rings come around, and you can see where you're neurologically compromised at what tissue they cut through, but you pretty much all the way through, even up in the brain. So that's parasympathetic, sympathetic. All these distinguished lines are weaknesses, lacunas. These aren't crypts. Crypts are deeper, darker, and you don't really have per se. These radii solaris are on that line of crypts, and see how deep and dark that is, and this radiates up into the brain. Now notice how this goes all the way to the stomach. See how it even cuts into your stomach here. So you've got some stomach weaknesses here from genetics, total genetics. coming right down the tubes here. Stomach, bowels, brain, all connected. See how all that's connected? Everything in God, in the worlds of God, is connected. Everything. There's nothing standing by itself. Everything's interconnected. And that's just what you're seeing here with this eye here. Here's the pituitary. Here's the skin. On this side, the back is up. On this realm back here, you've got some ovaries. You've got spleen. But all in all, we put this pretty close. Not bad. This is good, strong eye here, just and be able to achieve the health pretty easily. Getting the adrenals and kidneys online and getting this sulfur out of here, very important for you. Very important. But you got good genes to deal with. Right side of the body, obviously more weaker and more lymphatic up than the left. But good, strong genes. How are we doing?
Oh, that's good.
Huh?
Are you filming?
We have a no-show?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was half an hour ago.
Okay, so well, yeah, we're filming.
I actually just put it. It doesn't reschedule. Did you put her in there for the...
This look like they go together, don't it? So that should help you there, sweetheart. This is Zoe. Let's see if I've got any more eyes here we can go over. I think we just went over these. Yep, these are Shelby's. See what else we got, guys. Oh, looky here. I've got these this morning in the mail. This is from Erin. Nice pictures, Erin. 19-year-old male. This is Erin's right eye. Erin is a college athlete. That's a guy that needs to pump the God's blend here. I hope he's got this on so we can see it. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, you can see that pretty good. Well, Erin, see this thick collarate? The collar around the pupil. See that thick collarate? There you go. Interstitial, lymphatic, constipation. See how yellow it is? That's sulfur. So you were given some antibiotics when you were younger. You can tell it was when you're younger because the sulfur is trying to head toward from the colon to the lymph nodes. And this is just something I've looked at, and it is my expressed opinion that all waste must go through lymph nodes first. Except maybe some of the kidneys, which can expectorate right there. But that's possible. You have to go to lymph nodes. You have to break these wastes down a little bit, because hitting the kidneys. Just take go out and buy a Coke, just for one sip, and put it in your mouth and hold it. One strong Coke, one big sip, and that's what's going on. Just hold it in your mouth. That's what's going on in all these areas here, is that you're holding Coke, better known as phosphoric, carbonic, lactic, uric acids. Uric acids, all these acids are stuck in tissue here. See how thick that is? That's real thick. This is the skin ring, Erin. Now this is the right eye, so there's the adrenals. Now the kidney doesn't look so bad, but your lymph system, even in your kidney. So now you're going to see your creatinine going up. When you see your creatines go up, that's your kidneys. Caribbean. All right, there's your knee. A little bit of groin, and here's your hip, your right hip, and then we pick up gallbladder and pancreas. I would work on both of those, my friend, a little bit. Here's a little bit of liver. So working on your gallbladder and liver, like I've said, can pick up this pancreas, but you've got two digestive organs there hitting you pretty hard right there. That's the pancreas and gallbladder. Here we go on the groin here and the hip as well. Let me see. This is pretty dark, and this is sitting right at Mr. Prostate. So nothing ever comes good of this one, son. So, Erin, you got to fix this prostate up here. But you see how thick this whole thing is? This is all about kidneys not filtering. You can see it out in here, all this thick lymph, and it's just chewed up in a genetic way. You were born with a real weak prostate here, meaning you could have real low testosterone no matter what your blood tests show. So you just have to see how your, your male part is doing, and see how that is. And that's problematic. And you see how black that is, so that's real dark. I don't think we're in bladder. Right here's on the other side, so we see a little bladder weakness and pick up lower back, a little mid-back, and upper neck. A little thyroid, but not too bad. Just a little bit, a lot of congestion there. Here, big time pituitary. See here, you got the radius solaris here, frontal lobe, but this one's right slicing through your pituitary here. And this is affecting the pineal, so that affects your ability to rest and sleep. Same thing, get up there with brain and nerve and upper circulation and work on this. These nerve rings is autonomic nervous system, and goes right back to this adrenal gland right here. Bronchial trunks, this is probably up in the right shoulder. I'm not taking the time to map these out because pretty much you can see it pretty much straightforward here, and we want to get as many of these as we can. And minor up in the brain, sinuses is backing up, eye, so be careful with having problems with your eyes. But again, look at your bowel collarate. Real close here, so you have smaller bowels. Got some places here on the ascending. That's going straight up the right chest area. There's some areas of you need working on here of your colon. You can't just work on, you have to work on the whole colon. This whole ascending, the cecum area, these are all a lot of weaknesses that you're having in that area. I'd say you have a little prolapses of this hepatic liver, hepatic flexure. That's that curve that goes across here. This is Erin's left eye. More evidence, again, of pituitary. You don't have the radius solaris here so much on the other side, but you've got these two big spots. So like I said, getting the bowels cleaned up, getting the brain drained, so to speak. See all this thick white stuff, limp, 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 thick, thick. Look how thick that is. Parathyroid. That is a perfect parathyroid lesion. Definitely want to pick up your parathyroid and work on that. With that, I'd use a glandular. A lot of limp stagnation in the throat, little weakness in the thyroid area. A little upper femur here, leg, and then here, big time adrenals. Look at that. I would say adrenals right up there, a little decay maybe in that, and then a little bit of the kidney weakness here. A little rectal wall perhaps even. And then we get into a little bladder and lower back. See that lower back there? And that's all coming out of that kidney and adrenals. Real weak adrenal glands, son. And this is where you have these nerve rings. All comes out of that weakness right there. Creates this nerve weakness. Again, more skin. So it's just detox, 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 and strengthen, strengthen, strengthen. Get this lymph moving out of here. Get those adrenals up and moving. Get the kidneys. And you can always tell here that the adrenals are always the controller, because look at here. You always see an adrenal weakness, but you don't necessarily see a real heavy kidney weakness. So you know this puppy right here controls what it's sitting on, the kidneys. But that kidney has a lot of lymph involved to it. So that's when you see the lymph backing up even in the kidneys, that's when your creatine or creatinines go up. And remember, we do not like anything above a 0.6. Okay, so this was from Erin. We'll stick these eyes away. Maybe we'll create a big... We can do individual charts, or you can put them in one. Mm-hmm. I'll let you deal with that. So we have at least one more eye picture, I think, here. No, we have two more. I wanted to go over their eyes here. They were already clients. Yeah, we only have one eye. There's a one eye.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Who is this? I'm attaching a poor picture of my left iris.
It's pretty good.
Where the shoulder is.
You know, it's good.
That was before I went on a fruit fast about 2 months ago. Okay. So, left eye, shoulder, right there. See how dark that is? So, yeah, she was having some shoulder problems. This is she. Let me see, BB. This is from BB. All right, and I meant to add that my urine pH is always quite high, 7 or even 8-ish, and I wonder if it's from all the calcium I'm probably eliminating. Yeah, it could be. I should worry about bone cancer or something. No, 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 no. You shouldn't worry about anything, honey. But it's enough to say that this is so thick lymphatically. This is a blue eye. It looks hazel. See how it looks green? But it looks green. Now, my guess is that's sulfur in there. My guess is this: when this eye is really taking a good picture, you're going to see probably yellow-orange, thick bow wall, very thick. See how thick that is? Very thick bow wall. See how her bow walls are much bigger. So she has bigger bows, but thick, 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 thick. Small pupil, stress, little bit of skin. See that dark skin ring right around the outside there? Not bad, but all that thickness, all this thickness here is lymph, lymph, lymph. Now this is the right eye. Did you say you said my left?
It is a right eye.
This isn't a left eye. This is a right eye. This isn't the shoulder over here. This is the right shoulder over here. If this was the left eye, that would be the shoulder. But this is a right eye, dear. You sent me a right eye, not a left. Kidneys a little bit. There's the adrenals. Not bad, though. Good, strong genes. A lot of lymph. Poor eye to really tell, though. But this is the GI tract. This light is so bright. I wouldn't use bright lights when you send me pictures, because you see what happens? It gives a reflection. Your camera light has to be enough in a darkened area to take that picture. You need the camera's light to be effective. This shows too much sheen, so I can't see your brain or your pituitary or anything. But this gives a good example that you've got good genes, you got a lot of lymph work to do. If this is orange, which is kind of has that indication to us, that's sulfur.
She has the right idea with the type of photo that is needed to be
She's
submitted.
a 40-year-old female.
Yeah.
She's petite but toned. Ooh. I've had lots of chronic stress through growing up and ate very badly, lots of refined grains. Have been vegetarian for 15 years, vegan for the past 5. Ooh, nice lady. Frugivore for the past 3. Yeah, my kind of woman right there. And on a fruit fast, loving my honeydew melons and blueberries. This is a good woman right here. Look at this. Me and my mother, let's see, both suffer from many big calcifications in the tendons of our non-dormant shoulder. Well, here's the thing. This is all about lymph and acid, sweetheart, and what acids do. And same with your mom. You would be like your mom. So get in those kidneys, get into the adrenals, get into the clean this GI tract up. Remember, this is the trunk of the tree. You guys have to clean your bowels up. GI broom, lymphatic 1 capsules, 3 times a day, stomach and bowel, whatever is what I would do. Then I'd take off into my kidneys, do a lymph node 2, and really take off and clean this up here. This is a right eye. So we see a little hepatic here, a little liver, gallbladder, clean that up a little bit. This is probably the hip. Could be the pancreas and ovary, though. But not enough definition to really help you as much as I'd like to, sweetheart. But getting calcifications tells you that it's acid, you're pulling calcium out of the shoulder, and you're going to freeze and lock that shoulder in. It's going to become a rock. But it's all about lymph. History of rheumatic arthritis, there you go. Since years old. Well, that's sulfur then. I can just tell you. So you're high fungus, high candida, high uric acid. All of this is high acid. Always RA. Remember I told you I only have one RA case that doesn't have sulfur? All the rest have sulfur. So it locks that lymph in. It's an acid gas. It perpetuates fungus, which is uric acid. So it's a constant acid perpetuator. 5 days ago, without any warning, my shoulder, rotator cuff started aching, and by nighttime I wasn't moving my arm at all and was in excruciating pain, crying and not knowing how to move. I went to the ER in the morning, and the orthopedic diagnosed me with frozen shoulder syndrome. Oh, shit, what a name. Honey, you've got frozen shoulder syndrome. I guess your shoulder's frozen. Okay.
Diagnosed.
All right. That was diagnosed. That was pretty good. Took a lot of years. A lot of years at school to figure that one out. No kidding. Well, what causes it, Doc? All right, so yeah. So again, we're going back to the lymph system. I do some castor oil packs on those shoulders of yours and drive that castor oil in and start loosening up, giving some antacid effect in there at the same time. Wrap on those kidneys and adrenals and that lymph system of you guys.
I do have a question about that. A lot of people have come to me and ask about the castor oil packs.
Yeah.
How long per application?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I'd probably keep it on, in her case, probably overnight.
Really?
Yeah, just just rub it on,
Okay.
just rub it on and have it overnight. You can also, we don't have the Hill tea, salve right now, so it pisses me off. Prescribe steroid injections, I bet. But why do you, when someone's prescribing something like that, what are they prescribing steroids for? Antacid. So this tells you that your lymph system, but of course look at your lymph system here. Your lymph is backed up, you're highly acidic, and that's where you're seeing all these diagnoses from. He was shocked. I asked him if I could take my time to evaluate things. He said, I only have a week before my shoulder freezes completely. I decided to take that week to see for myself, and I went home with my terrible pain. Had some devil's claw, covered the shoulder with clay and ginger, had chamomile tea with red clover all day long, and lots of suntan and rest, and my partner massaged and part with castor oil. There she did it. Castor oil arnica. Good girl. All right, now she's on. I told you I like this woman. I've been doing that for the past 3 days now, and lots of improvements. See, when you get your tools, when you know the tools, you can fix yourself. The pharmaceuticals are not tools, but botanicals and flower essences and your oils, these are all tools. Great tools. Good work, sweetheart. Great work. Now, get up on your lymph system. Here's her actual question. Is there anything specific, food, herbs combo, helping tendons repair or helping calcifications disappear? Fruits, berries, and melons. One more time. Fruits, berries, and melons. Clean that lymph.
Move that lymph.
Then move that lymph.
Yeah.
You can use the bone formulas when you want to repair or rebuild bone, connective tissue, or tendons, but always go to the cause of the problem first, and the cause of your problem is going to be lymph, 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 lymph. You can see it all over the place. 5 months to a year, my doctor said calcifications never disappear. Well, give me a friggin' break. Lots of calcium oxalates in my urine in the past few years. Just keep doing that. Fruits, berries, and melons. Move the lymph, get the bowels cleaned up, get your adrenals up, and all this is going to disappear on you, honey. All this will disappear. Can this frozen shoulder be? Yes, it can be a detox symptom, by the way. That frozen shoulder absolutely can be. Absolutely. You're moving acids out, and Barbara, and that's what you got to do. You're moving acids out, and don't stop it. Get it moving like you're rolling down a hill here. So that's the best I could do, sweetheart, for you. Sorry, but it's just a wrong eye on the left side. It doesn't matter. You know what the problem is already. I don't need to see it, but you see a little here on the right. But this is all in the forehead and tonsil area. Now, we just got a couple more, and then we will shift out of this. He can go ahead and put these up, and then I'll take off on questions and answers. And we can put another card in there.
Yeah. There you go.
Now, these are some clients, and they did want to. This is Heather. And so, Heather, I have your 14-week protocol. You should have that by now. I'm going to have to hold Heather here because, and how about this? Is this good right here?
Perfect.
All right, Heather, this is what I found on you. Obviously blue eyes. See all that orange and sulfur? Now see, your bowel ring is so close to your pupil. It's unbelievable. Your pupil's a little enlarged here. Not bad, but just a little bit. You see how this one's just a little enlarged. So that's a little nerve weakness going on in the central nervous system, but it isn't bad. But look at how small and how Humpty Dumpty, almost like a dinosaur back. We have all these humps, all this in the gut. You really have some serious focusing needed on your GI tract. This is prolapsed, ballooned, spastic. You have a GI tract I haven't seen like this in a while. So really, what you have to and this is a really black stomach. I don't know what's going on with your stomach here. I did your protocol here. I can't remember, but this is suggestive of real chronic stomach and bowel problems right here. This would be a good gastroparesis or stomach cancer case if you're not careful. Real dark here involved. I don't like that at all around the bowels. I would be working on my bowels, because you got a majorly good, strong constitution. Look at how dark that is. But your constitution is great. Now let's look on this left eye here. This little line is your back I put on here. You got some drug deposits. See that big white that's up in the neck area, the top of the neck? That's a lymph node swelling right there. Want to get that out of there. This black lines are genetic weaknesses up in the C-spine and upper T-spine on the left side. A little bit of lower back here. Not as deep as these two. Again, left eye, this is the knee on the left side. This is the kidney and adrenals on the left side. This bowel is coming down, putting actual pressure on your leg here. Your bowel's ballooned and has the potential to affect blood and nerve flow in that leg. This is right on the line of the female and the bladder. So I'm going to say that I would probably douche anyway. And, get your bladder cleaned up as well as the kidneys. Here's the groin moving toward the hip. You've got an orange drug deposit, could be sulfur, right in that hip there. A little weakness in the hip and the left ovary. Now, this is up in the breast area. See that darkness in the left breast? I don't like that. And that little suggestion that lymph isn't moving as well in that left breast area. Chest wall up here. This is the lung pattern, not too bad. A little congestion in the lower lobe of the lung. Here's a little shoulder on the left side, starting to move into your ear, and a lot of congestion in the cerebellum up here, mastoid cerebellum. That's your equilibrium center. Good genes, though, honey, good genes. Here's parathyroid right here, thyroid and parathyroid. As I move up here, we've got, again, throat. A lot of throat and upper neck. Throat and upper neck. Here's lower back. And we get into the bladder. Here's the female. So I made note on your chart to douche here with this. This is important. Here's your leg. Here's your knee, kidneys. Here's your adrenals. All kind of in this area here. You've got your bladder. You got your female. You've got your kidney and adrenals. You got your leg. And look at that groin and appendix. That darkness is not real happy there. Here's the right knee. Here's the kidneys. A lot of lymph even in the kidneys here. Got to really get your kidneys and your adrenals and your bowels up. Here we go. Here is the, this is the pancreas and right ovary. Pancreas and right ovary. So that needs to be cleaned up. Hints of liver. So I would really get in and clean my liver, gallbladder, pancreas, their ribs, and here's back to the right breast area. So really, you've got a great constitution, really got to tear into those kidneys and adrenals, get in that parathyroid. You got a parathyroid, we're going to start strengthening your structure up. I even notice when you see a parathyroid weakness, that you're going to see these little fibers get a little wavy on you. It's almost like connective tissue in the body. These are represented by connective tissue, that the connective tissue starts getting weaker. Well, of course it does, because calcium is the basis for most structure. Here's a little parathyroid, thyroid here, tonsil. And not bad, pretty good shape. Gut, very much problematic. Must make that. That's going to be a lot of work. So don't get frustrated. You're going to spend a few years working on your GI tract, and do not get frustrated. This is what's coming down, although your GI tract is a little more involved than many I've seen. And that was shipped out 6/22. You guys can have these charts if you've been looking for them. I've had them in here.
Okay.
Let's see, do we got more eyes over here?
That's her son.
That's her son, Parker. Yeah. Heather, here's your son, Parker. You guys like this so far? I hope you guys do. I hope it's coming to you pretty good here. Again, you can tell the coloration of this picture is way off. It's obviously a blue eye, though. My guess is this is sulfur. See that orangey look? My guess is that's a lot of sulfur. If you look at Mom, she has sulfur. She gave birth to this young man. He could have got sulfur from her while he was in her. But this is sulfur, I can tell you. So the GI broom helped pull this sulfur out. Your bowels are a little better than Mama's, but pretty much following Mama's course. See all these jagged lines here? Then you're starting to develop these radius solaris out of this. So, Parker, I'd get up in my brain with upper circuit, brain and nerve. You got a couple of these weaknesses here you need to curtail and strengthen up here. There's also a little of the cerebellum and left ear here, so that could give you equilibrium problems as you get older. But cleaning up the GI tract for your family is key. And before you have children, Parker, clean up your bowels. Can't keep passing these bowel problems down the tubes here because they can get really bad. This is, again, you see how that's prolapsed down, part of this splenic flexure and transverse colon. I don't like this area here. But again, when pictures aren't, the colors and things aren't perfect, you're doing the best you can. So you guys have done really well to get pictures to me. Considering that there's not a lot of iridologists with effective cameras, proper cameras. So you're doing very good. I'm really impressed with all of you guys. Not bitching a bit. All this is thick lymph, thick lymph. And of course, when you see it the thickest, that's where you're obviously not moving it the most. And this is down your back. Real thick lymph, real thick in the sinuses. This is bronchial trunk cutting right into your lower lobe of the right lung. Genetic weakness there. This is your hip. This is your right hip. This is your upper femur. Tad bit of knee and a lot of inflammation in the knee. And then we come around to there's your adrenal. And there's your kidney. Well, this is your male. A little bit of prostate and male. But not bad. Good, strong genes. You guys got good genes. It's just your GI tract and your lymph systems. I could actually say that. Most of you that came to the school, when you get your iris analysis, did I knock those things out pretty good? You guys have to admit, you got your iris analysis real quick, and I did every one of them myself. I did pretty good. It's up till 2 in the morning every night, but that's good.
3.
3, yeah, there was 3.
3.
All right, here's left side, left knee, left ankle, left femur, chronic, if not degenerative adrenal gland, little bit of kidney on this side, little bit of rectal wall. There's the rectum right there, and you got two spots of weaknesses up in the rectum, but all this lymph is not going to do that any good. It's just going to make it weaker or form a tumor. This is bladder, wall of the bladder. This is the left wall of the bladder. You got a couple of weaknesses on that. This moves right down toward the back, so you got a little lower back and mid back going on. Here's throat. I'm picking on you because you guys got good genes, but there's things you got to take care of here. This is going to be a little groin there. The leg again, groin weakness. And here is going to be your left hip. See how dark that is? So this is all bowels. You see how this bowel takes off and balloons out here and then spastic? This is a spastic. But you see that genetic weakness right there. This is spastic. This is the left testicle area. Very spastic at that. And this is the sigmoid part of the bowel. And this is the sigmoid flexure. So you have 3 flexures. You got a flexure up here on the left side, which is the hepatic or liver flexure. Then you have the splenic flexure with the spleen, and then you have the sigmoid flexure. And all your flexures are prolapsed down. Common stuff. Skin too. Okay, good deal. So I think that we've caught it. We've done pretty good. Don't you think? I thought we did pretty good. Thanks for the eyes, guys. We'll do this again for you as we go on. I'm going to give all these to you, Drew, and then I'm going to take off. I say we put all of them in one chart where we can get them, and then we'll always have their eyes here, or we can make them individual charts, whatever you so choose to do. And then I can get to a lot of these questions I've been dying to get to. And there's these two charts. They just need to be filed. And that. Good. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Could you bring me some water?
Sure.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you. Oh, so how'd you like that? Did that work out pretty good? All right. I really should have him cut this video and get this up for you, but let's, if Drew comes in here, we'll see what he says. Let's go over some of these questions here now. This is Sunshine 1974. Ism. Inga. Hey, Inga and family. Oh, mucho glass.
That was easy.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Do you think we ought to cut this and then paste that up on, and
Yes.
then let's start off with a whole new thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And do
So
another
we want to
part.
cut here, and then you. Okay, let's do that. Thank you, guys. I love you so much. We're going to cut here real quick. We're going to start a new video on your question and answers, and then he can get these eye pictures up on for you. All righty. Bye bye. See you in a short while.